Happy morning. I've been up for 3 or 4 hours now working on some stuff and I thought I would share it, but we're going to do like always, happy coding. We're going to start coding this morning. What we're going to talk about first is some S3 buckets. The idea is we're going to take some JSON data, excuse me, and we're going to pass it through some kind of maybe Lambda. And this is what we're going to work on right now. And that's going to save it to our S3 buckets. Okay, and then later we're going to query those buckets using Kyndra for indexing, right? So let's kind of get this going. But first I want to introduce you to S3. Now, if you don't know anything about S3, a couple of things you want to do is make sure that you have your AWS installed, because we're going to, I don't want to show you how to do that because I did it before and there's a lot of videos and that would take, some time. So what I want to do is, where am I? Let's go to my desktop. We're just going to do it old school, and hopefully you can see my screen okay. We're going to say, I got to do more. Oops, not caps. Desktop. Let's just get started. All right, I'm kind of lost in thought here. We're going to say make directory, dir, we'll call it data underscore for S3. That way I'll know to delete it later. And that's fine. And as it popped up down there. So right there. So let's do something. Let's kind of cheat and let's make some data, I guess. So let's make a bucket. So these are my buckets over here. And making a bucket and messing with AWS is really easy. It's like dealing with a drive. Like, I would say like Dropbox, but I think it's easier than that. So let's say make directory. We'll call it MB for make bucket. And then here we're going to say S3 colon, we'll call it Sunday Tim. There we go. And we'll just go with that. Oh, you can't have underscores. I'm sorry. So let's get rid of that. And let's do a minus. There we go. Cool. So now if I go over here and hit refresh, there it is. So it's really that simple to make a bucket, right? So now let's put some files in the bucket. What I'm doing is I'm testing the bucket theory with the command line first, the CLI. The CLI is your AWS, right? So make sure that's installed first and make sure you have that setting up before you do this. I kind of walked you through that in the past. I'm saying a lot because it's early and I'm drinking coffee and I feel like I want to cough and I don't want to do that, but good morning. So I wouldn't go, like, if you want to set all that up, reach out to me or watch one of the other videos. We did that back even when we did Kubernetes. It's really not hard. You just want to make sure that you have your AWS set up, you have the correct tokens and all that to go with it, okay? So what if we want to remove this bucket? Because I don't like that Sunday name. So I could just say RB for remove bucket, bam. And now let's go over here and hit refresh. And now it's gone. Okay, but not fair. We need it back because we've got to write stuff in it. So MB, right? RB. And I've got all these commands from the documentation. Okay, so before we go crazy, let's go ahead and create some files. Where are we? Let's go into our data. Now, I'm going to keep this customer not related. There is a use case of why I'm working on this. I'm used to PuTTY, sorry. Well, not used to PuTTY. I like PuTTY commands, bash commands, whatever. Clear. Maybe clear. There we go. Okay. So now we are in our bucket, and I'm going to cheat, and I'm just going to use the echo, right? And we'll say, Tim loves to play guitar. And we'll just pipe that out to a file. We'll call it Tim wish list. How's that? Wish list.txt. Okay. That way it's kind of fun. It's not, and if we just do cat. Oh, I said wish list, didn't I? Sorry, let's do wish list. There we go. And now let's get rid of that wish list. There we go. And now we're good. Okay, and that's just basic Linux commands, right? Nothing rocket science there. Our basic bash commands. But now what we need to do is move this file to our S3 bucket. If you think about bash, there's a couple of commands, right? One of them is copy. So what happens if I copy this file? to my S3 bucket. So if you remember, we had our S3 bucket. So we're going to AWS S3 and actually, yeah, that's right. So AWS S3, oops, not the S3, and then CP for copy. And I'm just going to copy every file in there. That's a TXT because there's only one, right? And I want to copy that to my S3 bucket colon. If you notice, it's kind of like a URL type path, right? So not backslashes like in Windows, but forward slashes. So if you're used to Windows, that could be a pain. But let's see, I think tab won't work, duh. So Sunday minus 10. Let's see what happens. Okay, cool. So what happens if I do, I think this will work. And I may have it backwards. Yep. There we go. So cool. So I did the ls on my S3 bucket, and right now I have my wish list. Okay. So if we go in here and hit refresh, and there it is. Cool, huh? It's that simple. Now, let's do some other things real quick, and then we'll get out of the command line and we'll go into Python, because that's really where we want this to live. But I kind of want to show you how simple this is. The other thing I want to do is, what if I want to delete that one, right? And then what if I want to maybe move my file up there, maybe move that file back? So let's do some of that. Let's try, instead of CP, let's try MV for move, okay? And see what that does. Even though it's there, let's see if it overwrites it. There we go. So again, let's do our ls on our S3 bucket, and there it is. And what if I don't know if I can cat from here. Maybe I'm really dreaming, right? But let's just try. Oh, no, but that's kind of cool. It gave me the commands, right? It's like, look, dummy, you can't do that. You can pre-assign, I can ls, copy, remove, make bucket. I'm not sure what website it is. That's move, right? MV and sync. So you can sync the files. That's kind of cool. Let's try that. So instead of cat, well, if I do that, let's change our file, right? So let's go into here. Oh, I moved it. That's funny. All right, so let's do reverse. So let's do, instead of this way, oops. Let's see, let's grab this. I was trying to use a keyboard, but that doesn't work. And what we're going to do is we're going to move this to our local. So in Linux, you can hit a dot, right? Now, I know I've got an extra space there, but it doesn't really care. And now let's see, ls. Oh, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? Nope, that did not work. Am I still in the right folder? PWD, I am. Are you still up here? You are. Okay, so that didn't work. Let's see what I did wrong. Oh, I know what I did wrong. It doesn't know what to move. I'm sorry. So let's go back to here, Tim, and let's try a reverse. So if I just say star.txt, will it bring everything down? That way if I have JSON files or whatever I could, or I could just put the name of the file in there, right? Error occurring, Windows cannot handle operation key, so no, it does not know what that is. All right, so it does need to know the file name. That's fine. Wish list, maybe. And let's see if that works. Yes. Okay, so that worked. So where are we here? We are in our drive. It's there. And if I do a cat wish list, there it is. Tim loves to play guitar. But now what about our AWS? So we just do our up command. Let's do our list. I could just type it in, but you know, it's okay if we do it this way. Bam. And there's nothing there. So if I go over and hit refresh, there's nothing there. Okay, so what are we going to do? Let's update this file. Or technically I could create a new one, right? But let's just go ahead and open this one up, and I'll say Tim loves to play guitar if he ever has time. Okay, so you know what? No, I'm doing this wrong. You saw me do it in reverse. I'm not going to make any changes yet. We're going to try our sync command. So let's go ahead and copy this one back up. I'm not going to move it this time. I'm going to copy it. I guess I could just use this. That's fine. I don't want to keep going in history mode. I mean, I could just type it up and look at all the commands, but why bother? Well, we can just do this. Copy everything with a TXT to our wish list bucket. There we go. And now we should have, let's do our ls here. Oh, it's already there, so that's cool. And there we have it. So now if we do a sync, so now, I don't know, let's go in here, refresh, just to have a visualization. Yes, okay, cool. So now let's go ahead and do a sync, because that's the, Tim loves to play guitar if he ever has time. Okay, cool. All right, I did save, right? Yep, okay, cool. So let's try our sync thing. AWS, I can probably do help, but then it puts us in this big blob thing. So what if we just try sync as is? Okay, so sync itself can work in files or it can work in folders. So let's do this. It takes me a minute because I read all this. I read 2 books on this. Not S3 in general, but where it was talking about S3. And then I went and played with the support, and I'll show you how to get to that in a few minutes. Truthfully, a good person who's walking through this would have it open so you could be reading it, but at the same time, you'd be reading it while we're trying to figure it out, and that's not how you learn it, right? You learn it by making mistakes and doing it like I am. So we want to do AWS sync. I want to sync everything up there. Let's create another one. Let's just copy this. Because I think sync works better. Rename. We'll call this one 2. And let's just put some text in there. Tim loves to buy guitars. There we go. When he can. Okay, now that's never again, but let's just do that. Actually, I'm happy with my collection of guitars, so just put that out there. So I want to sync everything in this drive. I don't know if I need the / or not, but I want to sync it with that. So let's try that and see what happens. So it did, oh, it did upload it. So uploaded wish2, uploaded wish list. Let's go look at it. There it is. So what happens if I open this one up? Oh, you can't open it up. You have to download it. Okay, so I don't want to download it. Well, I guess I could. No, that's okay. It's just the fact that it worked, right? So, you know what? It's only fair if I do download it. So let's do this and download. Let's open this up. Yeah, so it did do our update. So we didn't tell it to update. It did our update by syncing, and it uploaded all these files. So that may be a path we take when we do our JSON files, because we want to sync our drives, and that's pretty straightforward. So let's do something cool. What if I want to remove all that? Because next we want to do it in code, right? So I think I can just do rm for remove, like you would in Linux. rm, but I may have to tell it the file name. I don't know if I can do everything, because it didn't like that earlier when I said .txt. It doesn't like that. Oh, maybe it did. So let's do an ls here and see what we have. Now, technically, I can go behind the screen and refresh, but I think this is just more cool if we do everything in the command line. No, it did not like it. So I guess it really takes that as a file name, which I don't know why you would ever name a file. Yeah, see, it didn't delete anything, even though it said it did. Ooh, open the screen thing up. No, I'm pretty sure I did, because that doesn't exist. So, you know what? I know what I'm doing wrong. It actually, there is a command, because we're kind of in batch mode here. Let's sync. And I think there's a flag for delete, if I remember correctly. No, that didn't work. Dot. What does that do? So our files are still there. They're still there. Okay, that didn't work either. All right, so we may have to come back and revisit the bulk delete, because I may have to look it up. But AWS S3 sync my bucket to the location, and I want to delete everything. Oh, I am telling you way wrong now that I think about it. It may be deleting, it just may not be there yet. So there is a process that it goes through. Um, yeah, so they're still there. So just keep that in mind. I mean, we can always do the remove per file, right? I was just, there's got to be an easier way to do that. And I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably already know. Um, but without me having the documentation in front of me, this is the easiest way. And then this one is wishlist2.txt. Okay. And so, well, yeah, that's kind of the key. So it doesn't delete it right away. Well, it did. I'm sorry. But I know the bulk doesn't delete right away. It should have given, see, like, notice I said delete, and then I did an ls, and it's still there. Oh, duh, because I did ls in my local drive. I didn't delete them. It's really early. Sorry. There we go. Yeah, so they're gone. All right, so maybe we could do folders real quick, and then we'll get over to Python. One flag that I didn't think about is if we did this. So let's copy all those back up. Let's just do a sync, right? Because that was the fastest. Let's get rid of vert delete. Okay, let's sync that back. Do an ls. Did we sync it in reverse? Let me make sure. I may have to look at my command real quick. I want to sync. Oh, I have it backwards. That's why. Uh-oh. Am I locked up? There it goes. There we go. I had it backwards. So I want to sync my... So you can sync both ways, by the way. But we're doing it this way. Okay. That didn't work because I was trying to sync from here to there, and there's nothing here. But I did want to show you this because I screwed it up. I was thinking about this. There is an AWS S3. Come on, S3. Let's do our bucket. I want to do a remove S3. And now this is more of a bash command, but it works here too. So we're going to do / what was the name of our bucket? Sunday minus Tim. And then what we're going to do here is say recursive remove. And that still will remove everything too. I was trying to do the bulk, trying to be cool doing the bulk remove, but it didn't work very well. But notice this is delete, and we are good. Okay, now they're gone. So if I go back here and refresh, we are gone. Now, so I kind of covered a lot in this short little video. You'll see me do more stuff when I do the Python. Command line's kind of fun, but truthfully, you're not going to really do much here. There is a way to list all the buckets. I'd have to look at that command. But if you just do AWS S3 bucket commands, there's not really a whole lot of them. And I would trust anything coming from Amazon, right? So this is where I got most of this. So there's copy, there's move, there's remove, and there is a recursive. That's what I thought about. On the directory level, you have sync, you have make bucket, remove bucket, and list. So it's not drive, it's bucket, right? And then, so this was the filters that I missed. So exclude everything, include everything. So these are your flags. So before you actually take what I've taught you, which is pretty much not a lot, go and look at this documentation. And I just Googled S3 AWS, right? Command lines. But like for an example here, they're doing a get, which is kind of cool. But there's not a lot of commands here. Pre-assign, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what website is. Sync, remove, remove bucket. Oh, pre-assign. I think you can, I don't know. I remember looking at this, but I don't remember exactly what it does. Pre-assign. Yeah, you change the URL. So all these have URL access paths, right? So you can say, hey, make this public. We're not going to do that. So I don't really care too much about that one. Move bucket, ls, and copy, right? So these are they kind of go with the whole bash Linux commands. So if you're used to those, it's pretty straightforward. The only thing is you want to look at what these flags are, right? So I forgot about the recursive flag until I was thinking about that delete. The truth is, if I'd pulled this video, it'd probably been like 5 minutes long, but it's more fun watching me make mistakes. So that's kind of it. So AWS, for an example, and we did this at the beginning, but if I want to remove this bucket, and we'll start with a fresh one, just say bam, and that removed my bucket. And if I go back over here and look, and if we go back to here, because if I refresh there, it hit an error. See, now my bucket's gone. Now be careful, make sure you have access to not remove anybody else's bucket, right? Because I have things in here where I was kind of playing with agents and code and that kind of stuff for earlier. I think I have those videos up for those too. But yeah, so these are really cool. So now if I just do history, you can see a lot of my commands, see a lot of my mistakes. Oops, not go too far because there's other stuff in there. So let's go down to here. So AWS right here, and they're pretty simple commands, right? So anyway, good luck. Hope this helps. And reach out to me if you have a question. The next video, this is just a precursor. The next video is actually going to do this in Python.